In 2003, I lived in Berlin as part of Tom Sachs's Nutsies installation at the Deutsche Guggenheim. I was 28 years old, and I had a social life there. And through friends, I met a bunch of Americans who were living in Berlin at the time. This was 2 years after September 11th, 2001, and I began filming these interviews on September 11th, 2003.
This is my plant Dizzy. He's going to be 2 meters tall within the next 5 years. This is my bedroom. This lamp up here is something someone made for me from one of my karaoke shows. It's a guitar that glows when you put a candle in it. Most of the stuff here I found in the garbage. These pieces of art are from Ricardo, a guy that also comes to karaoke a lot. And they all have a funny story. I don't know how much you want to hear. This one I bought recently. That's the first one that I bought and not given to me. He invited me to a really fancy art opening of his at a fancy hotel in West Berlin where the ambassador to Bolivia, the country he's from, was hosting it. So I go dressed as my normal self and get there, and it's all black ties and evening gowns, and of course I felt really out of place. And after about 10 minutes, the security guard comes to me and asks me, "Yeah, why are you here? Do you know what this is?" I said, "Yeah, it's an exhibit hosted by the ambassador to Bolivia." He's like, "Can I see? Do you have an invitation?" "Yes, I have an invitation. Can I see your invitation?" And I said, "Well, I don't have an invitation, but I've been invited." So right then he just says, "Follow me." And I was, oh no, I'm being kicked out of this opening of my good friend. So I was like, let me go introduce myself to the ambassador. And I'll clear everything up. So I walk up to this man and I say, "Hi, my name is Ron. You might know me as Karaoke Monster." And his hands go in the air. "Oh, Karaoke Monster, Ricardo told me all about you, and welcome, and no problem." Security guard leaves. I buy this picture, and the next day I get an email from him that said that the ambassador offered him money to buy that picture, but the guy that just got kicked out bought it first. So that's that picture. This is Jesus. It's another picture he drew. This is a picture that he drew, that he painted of me in 1999 or 2000. But it's funny because I got this tattoo on my arm before I left New York in '97, and it's kind of like an "I love, I hate New York" tattoo. And when he painted this, I said, Fricky is his nickname. What is this? What is this right here? He says, "Oh, that's New York." I said, "Oh, what is this down here?" "Oh, that's New York burning up in flames." There's a lot of weird things that I don't know have to do with New York. This is something else that a friend of mine gave me. That's the towers in Frankfurt. A photo montage of them being blown up, or I don't know. It didn't really happen, but it could if you don't learn your lesson. And before we go in the other room, I just wanted, this is a book that has a really interesting reference to September 11th. A friend of mine was living in New York and for 3 months and drew this book. It's dedicated to me, by the way. And in this book, within the first few pages, this is really funny because the night of September 10th, 2001, I read this book before I fell asleep, just by coincidence. I don't pick it up that often. But in this book, it's pretty crazy. This guy goes underground and touches some crazy knobs. And in the end, where'd it go? In the end, this happens. The World Trade Centers fall down.
When was this made?
This was in '97, I think. It says in here. '98.
Okay, and you read that the night?
September 10th. I woke up to a phone call of my aunt telling me this. I'm like, wait a minute, I just read this. Really weird. Yeah.
And that book was dedicated to you?
Yeah. He stayed with me while he illustrated that. This is the office / guest room right now because I have some visitors in from America, and this is where all the karaoke stuff happens.
Can you show us your rig?
Behind the scenes.
Your karaoke machine?
It's not hooked up right now.
I was in a bag, don't worry.
Yeah.
That's fine. How about these paintings over here?
These are paintings that a woman named Ursula is doing. She does a lot of art for my karaoke. Right now we're working on a karaoke compilation from all the people that come to karaoke a lot, and she photographs them all and they paints them. And some of them look like this, some of them look like that. And then we'll be doing a karaoke compilation. where all of these people will be recorded and you can buy their CD because they're all superstars. Really amazing. This is Fricke. This is Ricardo, the one that made the paintings in the other room.
And that's Krylon.
Krylon superstar. Still has to sign her picture.
Wow, they photograph amazingly well.
This is Manny. He's also an important karaoke character. This guy over here.
Can we see your tattoo too?
Yeah, can we?
Oh, I have to take my clothes off.
You can't pull it out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Tattoo.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you want to show us your place?
All right, this is the office. All sorts of crap. Hier wird's gekocht. This is the meat border. I'm not a vegetarian,
Can I see the meat border?
but I could be a vegetarian. That's not why I did it.
And I noticed you have a Toilet Boys t-shirt. Do you still you still are in do you know them, and do you how you still have a lot of contact with people from New York and
Not a lot. Most of the New Yorkers I have contact with live here now.
really?
Some, a little bit. I don't have any more contact with the Toilet Boys. I saw them when they were here. They pretended not to know who I was, even though we worked for hours and hours ironing on decals to t-shirts when everybody was broke.
Really? Why do you think that? Do you think that's the sort of mentality of
I don't know. I thought it was weird because we must have spent tens of hours together, but they were also in a foreign city on tour doing shows every single night of the week. I'm sure they get tons of people like, hey, remember me?
Yeah.
Who knows? I've never been a rock star. Maybe. This is the hallway. It has lights sometimes. This is the bathroom. I've got a really nice bathtub all by itself over here. This is Noah's room. He's 3 years. I don't think he's home.
No, we're gonna go see him next.
Well, I'm sure I should show you his room. This is Noah's room. Noah also does a lot of artsy, craftsy things. I don't know, I think he'd be proud if I showed you his picture if he doesn't get to. But this is a new picture he did that's really nice. Oh, maybe I shouldn't touch it. Oh wait, yes, now I got it. Noah's new picture. He made that frame himself. Isn't that crazy? And through this secret door is back to my room again. Coal. I haven't done any coal this year, but it'll be soon time I could take this stuff out. So, to light the oven, you need coal, you need coal starter is best. Oh, it's really full. I'd have to empty it first before I need a metal bucket.
You could talk us through it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go through the trouble.
So yeah, you clean all this out, you put it in a metal bucket. Metal, that's very important to throw it out. And then you stack these in there with these little white things. Set it on fire and you close this door in this door, and then you close this door just this far. And then you wait about half an hour to an hour until first the coals will all be in flames, and then when all the flames are gone and they're just glowing, then you shut both the doors. And it takes a while to heat up, but then this whole thing heats up. Every tile will be really warm. And it's a nice warm. It's not like you get a dry nose or really expensive. It's not like when it goes out, it's all of a sudden cold. It takes a couple days for everything, the temperature to go down. It's a nice warm. It's like really all through. The walls get warm, your furniture gets warm, not just the air.
How long does it take? How long does one of those little coal bricks?
If I put all these in, this would probably go about, I mean, these are good coals. These are from Czechoslovakia. If I put these in, it would probably last about 10 to 12 hours.
Jesus.
Probably.
How many do you put in at once?
I usually put in maybe a couple more than this, and I do that once a day.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thank you for the tour.
Sure.
When do you, usually does it get cold enough to use that thing?
I like to wait as long as I can because I just don't like carrying coal. But usually like the 1st of November.
Where do you keep it?
In the cellar.
Yeah. You have your own little cube?
Yeah.
Commies, man, they think of everything.
It's funny that my first apartment with coal heating in Berlin was on the 5th floor, and through some weird situation that happened over the years, my coal cellar wasn't available for my flat anymore, so my coal cellar was rented in the house across the street, in the Hinter house, in the house behind. So if I ever wanted coal, I'd have to go down 5 flights, across the street, to the back house, and in the cellar, and then back up through the cellar, through the front, across the street, and back up 5 flights. That was a hassle. But it's what you do to stay warm in the winter, I guess.
Better than Con Edison.
Yeah. Well, I was here, I got here 6 years ago about, a long time before September 11th. So there are a lot of Americans in Berlin. I don't know why they're all here. I don't know if it has something to do with September 11th. I think I recently just got a visitor who moved from Los Angeles, from New York to Los Angeles, and she told me about her experiences on September 11th. She was living in Chinatown and watched from her roof as this plane hit the building and ran across the bridge as fast as she could with millions of other people. And I think that's a big reason she moved to Los Angeles. I think, you know, it's a scar you don't forget anytime soon. So I don't know why everybody's in Berlin, but I do know that there are people that were horrified by it and left for some reason. I think a lot of the Americans in Berlin are here because not just of what happened in New York, but what's happening in all of America.
What were the circumstances that led up to you moving here?
I was also sick of America. I was living in New York, and it got really ridiculous. I moved in right before Giuliani came, and then Giuliani came and everything changed. Everybody knows that story, and I didn't like it anymore. I felt like I didn't have any freedom. I felt like even the simplest things were difficult. You know, you watch rush hour traffic and everybody sits in SUVs all alone and honks at each other, and there's no bike lanes. You know, they rebuild a bridge and they remodel it, and you can't ride your bike across it. You know, this is a huge city, like everybody should be riding bikes, really. Things like that, you know, the whole mentality, I don't know what it's gonna take for people to realize that sitting in traffic and honking while you're driving an SUV isn't the solution to getting home faster, you know. It's one big reason. A lot of reasons, like, you know, pissing on the street you get in trouble for, and you can't walk around with a beer. And not that these things are extremely important to me, but it's just your freedom, you know. It's just like anything. You say you can't do it, people will want to do it. The drinking age in America is 21, and look how much drunk driving there is there. The drinking age here is, what, 16 or 18, and they seem to have it under control. Or in India, you can buy Valium over the counter. You don't see a whole bunch of people hanging out on the streets overdosing on Valium, you know.
What do you do here?
I organize karaoke parties. I've been doing that for 3 years. Do a lot of different karaoke parties. Live karaoke with a live band. I did porno karaoke with another artist here. It was his idea. It was pretty funny. All sorts of different types of karaoke all around Berlin and Germany, and sometimes in Switzerland, the Netherlands, German-speaking countries mostly, because I only speak English and German. And I only have English and German songs. Some Italian songs for tourists.
And do you feel like you can make a living at that? Like you don't have to like starve to death in order to do that? Or is
At the moment, I'm starving to death. But I've been starving to death for 3 years, so yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make it. I get by. Things here and there. I was recently able to give up my job at the Coat Check and go karaoke 100% of the time, which was exciting.
Where are you from originally in the state?
I was born in Utah on Hill Air Force Base. I was brought up in Massachusetts. Moved to New York when I was 18.
So right out of high school.
No.
Yeah. And what was your ambition in New York?
Well, you know, I saw New York when I was young and knew that, like, in New York it was great because everybody was there. It was a big mixture. It was okay to be gay. That was a big reason I moved to New York. You can't be gay in Salt Lake City. And moving to Berlin, or to Europe in general, from New York, you realize that being gay is just like, you know, here it's really no problem. I mean, of course, in the small towns, especially in Berlin, though, it's just so, it's a non-issue. That's why I like it. There's not, you know, there is a gay ghetto here, and there are gay bars and people that live like that similar lifestyle to a lot of the gays in New York, but I never found places where it was just a non-issue. You just go there and you're having fun with people, or even at the workplace, even what I do. I don't do gay karaoke. If I was in New York, I would only be able to do gay karaoke because I'm gay, you know. I do karaoke everywhere. Nobody cares.
You know what? I kind of hear that washing machine. Can we turn it off?
You can turn it off or shut the door if you want it.
I'll shut the door.
Maybe the door is pretty sound.
You guys feel free to shout. You know, I'm gonna get my notebook out. Try to.
Do you think you'd be able to do like the karaoke stuff, like the monster karaoke and the punk karaoke, in New York, if you were, or in America, and live the way you do? Because you said you were starving here, but
No, there's no possible way. In New York, it's funny. I took a 6-month break here, and went to America to see my family and friends, and 6 or 4 months, I don't remember. But I also wanted to do karaoke gigs there, and I spent so much money putting press kits together and calling bars and karaoke places, and not very many people were interested. That I was convinced I was doing something really special, which I still think I do. I go to a lot of karaoke places, and mine are still the best, I think, but whatever. I'm a Leo, of course I have to say that.
How long did it take for you to get established here, or to get so that it was possible for you to go out and like get set up and have people come when you came here?
Well, I spent my last money on a karaoke machine 3 years ago and did my first party, and happened really fast. Like, of course, in the beginning I was just going to bars and being like, hey, you want karaoke? It's really fun. And then it traveled really fast, word of mouth. So it didn't take long at all. I would say within the first, after 8 months of doing it, I was doing a party here in the SO36, which is a huge club. You know, it holds 500 people, and it's usually full. You know, and I get emails and telephone calls from all over. Happened really fast, just word of mouth, I would
do
say.
you think that's like a part to do with like the German mentality of being open, or do you think Americans or do you think it's finance, or do you think it's like a character identity, or?
I think it's a little bit of word of mouth and being open. That's a lot of it. Like when people hear about something good, they say something, and people are open. Like, oh, that does sound interesting. We'll try that. And yeah, you know, I've done evenings that are complete flops. You know, but I still get booked in other places, and they, yeah, okay, we'll try it. But I also notice here that a lot of anything is word of mouth. It's not so much to do with sending press kits around and having a manager. It's a lot of word of mouth. And, you know, I don't have a manager. I just, you know, talk to these people. In America, nobody would even listen to me unless I had a manager. Like, you know, I might as well call as my own manager and then, you know, to get a foot in the door. But here it's just, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about this neighborhood, how you picked it? Is it east or west? What kind of rent do you pay?
I live in Friedrichshain. It's former East Berlin. When I moved here, it was really run down. All the buildings were brown. I have cheap rent. I have 100 square meters, and pay under 400 euros. It's very cold here in the winter. I have coal heating. It never gets above 12 degrees in my house when it's freezing outside. But whatever, it keeps you healthy and fit. Friedrichshain in the meantime has become very tourist for young people. I recently read that the average age of the person that lives here is 23 years old. I guess I have to move out. But yeah, it's become really touristy. There's lots of bars, not really any clubs, lots of cafes. Tourists that come here are immediately sent to the Simon-Dach-Straße to go to the cafes here. There's a lot of punks in Friedrichshain. There's a couple of Bauwagenplätze, translated trailer parks, but more trailer parks by choice. You can live there for free in your car or whatever you have, your tent.
Can you show us later how you like the coal stove, or is it like a big deal?
I haven't lit it yet this year, but I do have all this stuff here from last year.
Do you have the cold water thing, or how does your water
No,
work?
my water is nice. I have gas water, which is really great. It's not like a water heater where the water goes in and heats the water and then you have to wait. You turn the water on and it passes over a hot flame and it's immediately hot.
So the pipe passes through like a blue flame?
Exactly. Well, it's like a coil of pipes and the blue flame is in the middle.
Okay.
And it goes through there and it's heated immediately. Very efficient.
Do they include gas here, or is that?
No, I pay gas extra, pay electricity extra. I have to buy my own coal.
Okay. How much is coal these days?
I think I paid 120 euros for a ton,
Been how long is that?
about a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
A year and a half. $120 for your heating bills for a year and a half.
yeah, for 2 ovens. I have one in this room and one in that room.
Okay. Can you cook in these things too? Or do you have your own?
My old apartment had a coal oven in the kitchen that was the stovetop also. This one you don't cook in. You can put your bread in there to keep it warm.
Yeah.
A lot of German people put apples in there and it smells nice.
So what have you done to this apartment since you moved in? Was it as is, or?
No, it had white. It had white wallpaper everywhere.
Mhm.
So I really like the walls in these old flats. So I took the wallpaper off in this room. I took the wallpaper off in the bathroom. I'm gonna take the wallpaper off in there. And in the kitchen, my old roommates painted it pink. And then I put up a meat border. Kind of have to see it to understand it. But it looks like strawberry milkshake. It's a comfortable kitchen.
Cool. Do you want to give us a tour of your apartment?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna take the camera off, and well, I'll just try to stay within you, and maybe when you guys can hold on to the wire.